All right, joining me now on the panel is One Nation leader Pauline Hanson and former Speaker of the House Bronwyn Bishop. Great to see you both. Now, I'm going to play you a little clip that I think sums up everything you ever need to know about Anthony Albanese. Have a listen.
Children throwing rocks with helicopter gunships, with tanks and with missiles.
Pauline Hanson, that was Albanese back in the day. Has he forever tarnished his image? Will he now forever be nothing more than a grubby student socialist who fulfilled his lifelong mission of hostility towards Israel? Pauline.
Of course he will be. The leopard doesn't change its spots. He's only got bigger over the period of time. So, you know, I watched that interview last night, and good on Shari. It was a great interview to watch Netanyahu and what he had to say, especially about Albanese. And everything he said was true. He hasn't been a leader of this nation. He's never led with the mind to protect all Australians, regardless of what cultural background you are, what religion. And he's never protected Jewish people. And the whole fact is, everything that's happening, even these Palestinian marches, it's all about the Islamic fundamentalists who are pushing their own agenda, their hatred towards the West. And this has been utilised to say it's to do with Israel. The whole thing is, it's people pushing their own agenda here, and stupid Australians are going along with it, thinking, oh yeah, cease the fire. There's a behind the scenes that's going on here to the propaganda, what they're trying to brainwash the kids in the educational system, and what then people out there who have no understanding of what really is happening here. I fear for the country in the future, and Albanese has led it right from the start by giving money to UNRWA, and the millions of dollars there. He's actually backed Hamas. They're a murderous terrorist organisation. He's never really, I haven't heard him say, you know, we are not going to support you in this another state, Palestinian state, until the hostages are given back. He's never shown that strong backbone leadership. And this is what I think I've always said. He's a pathetic, weak leader of this nation. And I've got no time for him, Rowan. I say it all the time.
I agree with you, Pauline. I have to agree. Bronwyn, an interesting insight, a brilliant interview by Shari, as Pauline was saying. A great insight from Prime Minister Netanyahu was that all we are doing is feeding the crocodile, and that all we will be doing is encouraging the sorts of Islamic extremism, Islamist extremism that they've seen well, throughout the world, but we'll be encouraging it here with these actions. That was the Prime Minister Netanyahu's insight.
Yes. Never has a truer word been said than when he talked about violence coming to our streets. It's already here, Rowan. Violence is also words, and the words that come out of the so-called peaceful marches are violent, threatening death, calling for death. And he's quite right to say feeding the crocodile. I mean, just look at history. Go back to Clinton. He thought he'd stitched up a deal that was going to save this two-state solution. And the PLO and Yasser Arafat just walked away from it. He said it was the biggest failure of his presidency. It's going to be like that because the enmity and the hatred for the pan-Arab movement for the State of Israel, when they wanted to be a pan-Arab land ruled by another caliphate. And remember, when the Ottoman Empire destructed, there was an uprising of the Arabs against it, and the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, who went to meet with Hitler to ask him to please send people to come and murder the Jews in Palestine. It's a long, long story. And for Albanese, the weak man to hide behind Starmer and hide behind Macron to say, oh, look, we're going along with the rest of the world, when the Labor Party has the dreadful record of Corbyn, who actually went in 2014 to a memorial service and laid a wreath for the Palestinians who killed the Israeli Olympians in Munich. I mean, when you know that Vichy France sent hundreds of thousands of Jews to their death in gas chambers, this is nowhere to hide. This is not what a strong leader does. This is the action of a weak leader who simply now wants to hide behind this insult to him to say, look at me, look at me.
Well, I would argue it's not so much a weak leader as a very aggressive, radical leader who
Indeed.
is pushing us. Never before has a Prime Minister of Australia thrown an entire community, the Jewish community in this instance, under the bus to pursue his own grubby student politics. Utterly disgraceful, in my opinion. Now, Pauline, I want to ask you about the round table. The economic lazy Susan, as I call it, was a farce. Albanese banging on about renewables being the new industrial revolution. What a joke. In a way, the comparison is apt, except it's the wrong way round. Renewables are the Luddites, and the real industrial revolution is AI, which is going to demand huge amounts of cheap, reliable energy, which can only be produced with coal, gas or nuclear. Pauline, what did you make of the roundtable lazy Susan affair?
I love that term, lazy Susan. You're so right. The Labor Party are always putting the spotlight on them. Look at us, how good we are, what we're trying to do, and we're opening it up, for people to have their say. The unions, really, the ones that are pushing about the industrial relations, the government can't do anything without the unions there in the back pocket telling them what to do. In the rear, a lot of these people that were there, Rowan, are actually lobbyists. They have an open door to the ministers and the Prime Minister constantly all the time. It was just putting a limelight on the Labor Party to make them look good in the eyes of the public. If they really had their finger on the pulse, you don't need to have the round table to look at the productivity of this nation, where it's going, and the decline of the standard of living of all Australians. Immigration, that's number one on the agenda. This climate change, net zero, that's driving up electricity prices. Industries, manufacturing going under. Why? Productivity has dropped from 8.9% to 5.1%. That's all losing it with jobs. And and the farming sector, that's been destroyed. And of course, they're destroying the mining sector as well, closing down the coal mines and the gas exploration that's happening in the country. So if they really want to be fair dinkum about it, look in their own backyard and the policies they have brought in, that is destroying the productivity, but they don't want to.
Absolutely.